Good morning, children. This is Hanman sir here. In the previous class, we are discussing about a number system, right? So, in this session, I am going to take you on the second topic. So, that is this chapter number 2, Introduction to Euclid's Geometry. Introduction to Euclid's Geometry. So, you all know about who is the father of geometry. Yes. So the father of geometry was Euclid's. Okay. So that is only today's our lesson. So introduction to Euclid's geometry. So geometry is a branch of mathematics which deals with the study of solid figures, nothing but geometrical shapes. And all. So okay, so first we need to understand the word geometry. So the word geometry comes from the Greek words geo, right? So the word geometry comes from the Greek words geo, which means the earth, and metron, meaning to measure, right? So here geo means, it is clearly seen that geo is nothing but earth, metry, so metron, right? So the word geometry comes from the Greek words geo and metron. So here geo means the meaning of geo is earth, and the meaning of metrian is to measure. So geometry appears to have originated from the needs of measuring land. So geometry is a branch of mathematics was studied in various forms in every ancient civilization, be it is in Egypt, Babylonia, China, India, Greece, and the Incas, etc. So the people of these civilizations faced several practical problems which required the development of geometry in various ways. Okay, so geometry is a branch of mathematics which deals with the study of measurement, some geometrical solid figures, geometrical figures, etc. Okay. So the geometry developed by Egyptians mainly consisted of the statements of results. There were no general rules of the procedures. In fact, Babylonians and Egyptians used geometry mostly for practical purposes and did very little to develop it as a systematic senses. But in civilizations like Greece, and the emphasis was on the reasoning behind why certain constructions work. The Greeks were interested in establishing the truth of the statement by discovered using deductive reasoning. So he was the greatest Greek mathematician. See his figure. His name is Thales. Say from 640 BCE to 546 BCE, a Greek mathematician. Thales is credited with giving the first known proof. This proof was of the statement that a circle is bisected, that is cut into two equal parts by its diameter. One of the Thales' most famous pupils was Pythagoras, 572 BCE, whom you have heard about. Pythagoras and his group discovered many geometrical properties and developed the theory of geometry to a great extent. This process continued till 300 BCE. At the time, Euclid, a teacher of mathematics at Alexandria in Egypt, collected all the known work and arranged it in his famous treatises. Okay, and then it is called the element. So he divided the element into 13 chapters, each called a book. These books influenced the whole world's understanding of geometry for generations to come. In this chapter we shall discuss Euclid's approaches to geometry and shall to link it with the present day geometry. All right, children. So we know that the father of geometry was Euclid. So here we have Euclid's definitions, axioms and postulates. Euclid's definitions and axioms and postulates. So the great mathematician of Euclid's time thought of geometry as an abstract model of the world in which they lived. The notions of point, a line, plane, surface and so on were derived from what was seen around them, from studies of the space and solids in the space around them. An abstract geometrical notion of a solid object was developed. A solid has a shape, size, position and can be moved from one place to another. Its boundaries are called surfaces. They separate one part of the space from another and are said to have no thickness. The boundaries of the surfaces are curves and the straight lines. These lines end in points. Consider three steps from solids to points, solids to surfaces, lines and points. In each step we lost one extension also called a dimension. So a solid has three dimensions. A surface has two, a line has only one and a point has none. Euclid summarized these statements as definitions. He began his exposition by listing 23 definitions in each in a book, one of the elements. A few of them are given below. A point, for example, first one, a point is that which has no part, right? So a point is that which has no part, right? Yes. So point is the geometrical point is the smallest geometrical figure. So a point is that which has no part, and come to second one, it is a line. So a line is breadthless length. The ends of a lines are points. A straight line is a line which lies evenly with the points on itself, and a surface is that which has length and breadth only. The edges of a surfaces are lines. A plane surface is a surface which lies evenly with the straight lines on its. Okay, children, if you carefully study these definitions, you find that some of the terms like part, breadth, length, evenly, etc., need to be further explained clearly. For example, consider its definition of a point. In this definition, a point needs to be defined. Suppose if you defined a part to be that which occupies area, again an area needs to be defined. So to define one thing, you need to define many other things, and you may get a long chain of definitions without an end. For such reasons, mathematicians agreed to leave some geometrical terms undefined. However, we do have a initiative feelings for the geometrical concepts of a point than what the definition above gives us. So we represent a point as a dot, even though a dot has some dimensions, right? Yes. Suppose we take a point. So point is the smallest geometrical figure, right? So point is the smallest geometrical figure. See, this is point. The representation of point is this So point, see point, the smallest geometrical figure, the smallest geometrical figure. Point is the smallest geometrical figure. It can be denoted as this is a point. So according to text, point, a point is that which has no part. A point is that a point is that which has no part, right? So the smallest geometrical figure, a point, is that which has no part. Okay, next we have a line segment. Right? It is a line segment. So line segment can be represented as this is line segment. It can name as A and B. So the line segment can be defined as there is a two endpoints, right? So line segment, it has a endpoint. It has a two endpoints, and it has only one dimension, that is a length. So there is no breadth. All right. So a line can be denoted as see, AB. It can be denoted as AB. I'll repeat once again. So a line segment has a two endpoint. It has only one dimension, that is a length. There is no breadth. So it can be denoted as AB. It can be denoted as AB. Okay, and also it is finite in length. It has finite in length. All right, understood, children, this. Then come to next one. It is a straight line. Surface, right? A surface is that which has a length and breadth only, right? A surface is that which has a length and a breadth only. So the edges of a surface are lines. A plane surface is a surface. A plane surface is a surface which lies evenly with the straight lines on itself. A plane surface is a surface which lies evenly with the straight lines.